Chapter 1. The Creative Team. Introduction. A musical brings together 5 pillars of the arts: music, language, dance, visual, and digital arts. To tell a story should only make sense that there would be a team of people with expertise in each of these arts pillars collaborating to produce a musical. This group is known as the Creative Arts Team, and recruiting these people is one of the most important early steps in presenting a successful musical. Identifying strengths and weaknesses in the creative team is a necessary step prior to selecting your musical. For example, if the choreographer you've worked with for the past 20 years moves away and you are unsure of her replacement, you may want to choose a show that features minimal choreography, something like Sweeney Todd School Edition versus Thoroughly Modern Millie School Edition. In this chapter, we'll define the ideal skills each member of the creative team should possess and how to evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of your creative team. The quality of your creative team can greatly impact the shows you'll be able to successfully present. Let's start by exploring what a creative team is. What is a creative team? Generally, a creative team consists of a producer/director, music director, choreographer, stage manager, set/props designer, costume designer, line designer, sound designer, and technical director. This group of individuals works together to make a show happen, producing its artistic, technical, and administrative components. By working as a team, the responsibilities are divided, allowing individuals to focus on making his or her contribution to the production the best it can be. This team approach is based on the adage, "Many hands make light work," and is key in making your musical theater program both sustainable and the highest quality possible. Defining each position. Producer/director. The producer/director is responsible for the administration as well as the artistic components of directing a show. This role may include everything from creating a budget to making artistic decisions. The producer/director leads production meetings, works with the stage manager to create the rehearsal and performance schedule, stages the show and facilitates communication between all members of the creative team. In most educational settings, it is common for one director. However, advanced musical theater education programs will. In this case, the producer focuses on the administrative tasks of producing the show, creating a budget, fundraising, securing the creative team, managing marketing, overseeing the box office, and determining the performance space. The director focuses on artistic tasks such as running rehearsals and staging the show. Music director teaches and shapes the song and works with the cast to make sure diction is clear and they are singing in a healthy, comfortable, and sustainable manner. If he or she uses a live band or orchestra for performances, the music director will recruit and rehearse those players to conduct the show during rehearsals and performances. Ideally, the music director plays piano well enough to pluck out notes during rehearsals. However, many shows are now licensed with resources like guide vocal tracks and accompaniment recordings that minimize the necessity for being a piano profession. The choreographer. The choreographer creates all dance segments for the show, from Bring Down the House production numbers to intricately executed ballet sequences and everything in between. The choreographer, director, and music director work very closely together when staging all musical numbers, so solid communication and sharing a common vision is important between these 3 positions. Stage manager. The stage manager is responsible for handling all rehearsal and production schedules, as well as calling the show during performances. Calling the show means that the stage manager is in the booth or in the technical center of your theater, usually enclosed in a room in the back of the theater behind the audience, calling cues over an intercom system, as well as to when the lights, set, and sound should change. If more help is needed backstage, the stage manager will recruit additional personnel to address the production's needs. The stage manager also takes notes during rehearsal to memorize all blocking and choreography decisions, and is the communication liaison between the cast, crew, and the creative team. In many musical theater education programs, it is common for the stage manager to be a student. Students make great stage managers. It is true students do make great stage managers, and we encourage you to identify 1 or 2 students to take this very important role for each show you produce. Here are some things to consider. Define the student's role and task clearly in writing. Review this description with the student prior to her acceptance of the position. Be realistic with what the student can achieve successfully. Ensure the actors, stage crew, and creative team recognize and respect the student as a stage manager. Play to the student's strengths. If the student excels at communication, make that responsibility central to his tasks. Depending on the technical needs of your show, assign 1 or 2 student stage managers to an adult stage manager so they have a mentor. Students who have aged out of your program make great stage managers. Prior to rehearsal, let the stage managers know the day's goal and how they can help. For example, task a student stage manager with setting up the rehearsal room. After rehearsal ends, check in with them. Ask how things went. Were there any issues or challenges of which the creative team is not aware? Assign a student stage manager to write a rehearsal report after each rehearsal and distribute it to the creative team. Whether you had 1 or several student stage managers to your team, you will wonder how you ever produced a show without them. Set designer. The set designer is responsible for the show's set. The set includes any backdrops, furniture, or large objects that are essential to the storytelling. Ideally, this person should have both artistic skill and construction skills. However, this mixed skill set is often hard to find, so in many cases, 2 people will collaborate on creating the set. One takes the lead on design and painting, while the other focuses on construction. Costume designer. The costume designer is in charge of all clothing, footwear, and accessories worn by actors. This person creates an overall costume design for the show and will build and or shop for costumes to clothe each actor. It is helpful for this person to have sewing skills. However, most shows can be costumes by shopping thrift stores and seeking clothing donations. Similar to the set designer, this job is often completed by several people with different skills. For example, one person sews, another shops, while yet another person organizes and prepares costumes for the actors. Prop master. The prop master creates any non-set or non-costume items that are specifically called for in the script. Typically, props are small, handheld items such as a book or a suitcase. Ideally, this person will enjoy a craft project and is skilled with a glue gun. It is common practice in educational theater for the set designer to be also responsible for the props. Determining which items and props versus costumes or sets can be sometimes confusing. Avoid the situation by ensuring the prop master, costume designer, and set designer meet and review the prop list, most likely created by the director or stage manager, and agree upon who is responsible for each of them. Lighting designer. The lighting designer is responsible for lighting the production. This task may include renting lights or positioning lights on the stage. The lighting designer will also decide the lighting color and whether or not the production calls for a spotlight or other special lighting instruments. The lighting designer will also recruit and train additional light technicians. For example, someone to run the light board or spotlight. Peach. I desperately needed a lighting designer but had $0 to pay for one. I put out a plea on social media and a friend from college happily volunteered his services. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's a lot of generosity out there. Kristen M. Singer, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Pit. When I was pregnant with my second child, we were working on the hardest musical we'd ever attempted. Every day I was exhausted because I didn't ask any of my parents or coworkers to help with the show. I ended up taking on a lot of frustration out of my family, which is not okay. I'm learning now how to ask for help. Bridget Burroughs, Indian Trail, North Carolina. Sound designer. The sound designer is in charge of all sound components of a production. This task includes securing a sound system and microphones, organizing music playback during rehearsals, and creating sound effects. The sound designer will also recruit and train people to run the soundboard and put wireless mics, on the actors during rehearsals and performances. Technical director. A technical director manages all technical aspects of a production, including costumes, set, props, lights, and sound. This person coordinates and manages the process of loading a show into the theater and troubleshooting any challenges during technical rehearsals. The creative team influences your musical choice. In a perfect world, your creative team will be fully staffed with excellent people in each of the positions described above. Alas, the world is rarely perfect, and every program over time will experience fluctuations in the members of the creative team. For example, you may have a student whose parents happen to be excellent set designers, but lose interest once their child ages out of your program. Situations like this are why it's important to regularly evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of your creative team and use this information to help determine which musical is right for your program. Evaluating strengths and weaknesses. Make a list of the various positions of the creative team, adding the names of people who have performed these roles in the past and are likely to take the role in the future. Don't worry if there are positions without names quite yet. Once this task is complete, meet with the people you have identified and share your list. Brainstorm with these key members to identify who might be a good fit for any open positions and reach out to these new people as you work to fill your team. It is not uncommon in educational theater for some positions in the creative team to go unfilled, and that's okay. Just be sure to take this boundary into consideration when selecting your show. Got a fantastic costume designer and reluctant but willing set designer, a new choreographer you'd never worked with before, and an excellent music director? Find a show that features great costumes, a unit set, and limited choreography, and lots of singing. Team? What team? We know there are many of you who present a musical with a team consisting of me, myself, and I. While it is possible to present a musical using this one-man band approach, it is not ideal for a number of reasons. First, a musical is a great deal of work and can be overwhelming just for one or even two people to produce. Second, the burden of a large workload spread between one or two people over time can threaten sustainability of a program. Third, musicals are best when many people from many different areas of expertise are collaborating together to create the best possible production. In collaboration with a team that makes musicals unique and fun, because a musical brings together people with a range of skills for the common purpose of telling a story. Sometimes, bringing different people together can present challenges in areas of communication, organization, and creating and sharing common vision. However, the rewards far outweigh any challenges. Making the best out of a one-man band approach. If you find yourself presenting a musical with a team of one or two people, it is important that you are realistic about what you can achieve and the titles you choose to present. Remind yourself that the single objective of a musical is to tell a story. So period costumes or an authentic set may not be achievable or even necessary. Further, it won't matter if the cast pantomimes props or the lighting system in your space is one on and off switch in a classroom. So long as your students are telling the story, all will be well. That said, it should be your goal to expand your creative team in your next musical endeavor. Delegation is a must. You have a lot on your plate, everything from choreography questions to scheduling conflicts to an absent cast member. While it is tempting to personally take on every challenge, a successful director will enlist the help of others. Directors who fail to delegate tasks risk burnout from being spread too thin. Ultimately, your most important job is to arrive at rehearsals ready to inspire and direct a room full of excited young people. To accomplish this task, rehearsal after rehearsal, a show needs a strong creative team providing expertise and support. Sometimes this means a member of the creative team may not complete a task exactly as the producer or director may have envisioned, and that's okay. It's important to remember a task completed by someone else is much more valuable than a task that was not completed because someone is spread too thin. Conclusion. The first T is for team. The strengths and weaknesses of a creative team are essential considerations when deciding which musical to present. One of the ongoing tasks of building a quality musical theater program is maintaining, identifying, and recruiting members of the creative team. For example, should you find yourself dreaming of presenting Anything Goes Young Performers Edition, but currently lack a choreographer who can teach tap dancing? Start asking friends and colleagues if they know anyone who might be a good fit. However, resist picking a show until you have that tap dancing choreographer secured. Let's move on to our second T, time.